What happens if you get a DUI in Alabama and your breath shows it to be above the legal limit? How do lawyers challenge this kind of thing? Well, that's what this video is about. And there's a number of ways that it's done, so let's talk about them. The first is that the breath testing machines, and they are machines, is that the breath testing machines must be properly working. That means they need to be properly maintained, they need to be properly calibrated, and if they're not, just like any other machine, it's subject to being either misused or having malfunctions and other problems. So if they're not in proper working order, or if the state can't show that they've been properly maintained, that may mean that the results of that breath test were not reliable, not accurate, and a judge may not allow it into court as evidence against you. In addition, the police officer who conducted the test has to be properly trained, and he has to perform the tests properly. He has to follow the proper protocol. If he doesn't do so, again, the results of the test may be unreliable, and they may not even be admissible depending on what happened in your particular case. Even if the machine has been properly operated, properly maintained, and properly used, it doesn't necessarily mean that the breath tests are accurate. And the reason for that is that these breath testing devices are based on the law of averages. In other words, they're programmed, and if a machine's not properly programmed, the results aren't reliable. But they're programmed based on an average person. Well, we look at Danny DeVito, we look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, and what's the average? Arnold Schwarzenegger is not your average Joe, neither is Danny DeVito. And since it's programmed on averages, the results aren't necessarily to be relied on. Different people have different metabolic rates. I'm a little chubby. I'd like to blame that on my lower metabolic rate. So when we talk about somebody's alcohol tolerance, we're talking about their metabolic rate. Different people can consume alcohol with different effects, and that is, at least in degree, related to, well, how fast is that absorbed? What does their metabolism do with the alcohol? According to the law of averages, I'm a dead Chinese woman. Why? Well, the world population, there's more people who are dead than have been alive, so on average I'm a dead person. The greatest population group is Chinese, so I'm a dead Chinese person, and it's not 50-50 on the distribution of our sexes. It's something like 49% men, 51% women. So according to statistics and averages, I'm a dead Chinese woman. Well, that's obviously not consistent with the truth, and sometimes the results of these breath tests may not be consistent with the truth. Along those lines, lawyers will sometimes argue that the results that are showing as far as a breath test are inconsistent with the other evidence. If somebody has perhaps a high BIC, where according to science they shouldn't be able to function, be able to do certain things with that level of BIC, but their behavior doesn't jibe with that, or vice versa, then that can be argued by a lawyer as a factor showing that, well, we can't really trust that. Usually would be argued with other factors as well. Of course, there's always other defenses in a DUI case. One of them may be that the person who is accused, the lawyer may run with it. Oh, yeah, it's a high BIC. We don't care. That's fine. Because the defense may be, hey, this person wasn't driving, or they didn't consume alcohol at the time. I'll give you a real life example. Had a case. My client, he was in a bad wreck. He was pinned in the car. He was waiting for the ambulance to arrive. He couldn't go anywhere. But he had been to a liquor store. He had bought a bottle of whiskey. He's trapped. He's in pain. What the heck? Boom. He drinks it. Now, whether or not a judge believes or doesn't believe that argument, of course, would be determinative as to whether my client won or lost. But that is a defense that is based on the fact that it doesn't matter what his BIC is. It matters, did he consume it prior to driving? So, in conclusion, I'd say that if you have a experienced and skillful lawyer on a DUI, it can really help you on this kind of a case. If you want to give us a call, our phone number is below. We practice here in North Alabama, and feel free to give us a call. I hope you found this video to be helpful and informative and educational, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.